So I'm gonna give you a superpower that you need in sales. And the superpower is this. You ready? Get them to agree, not admit. All right, so let me set the scenario up for you. Okay, the scenario is this. So do you remember when you were a kid, and hopefully you were a kid, do you remember as a kid that you did something wrong? An adult comes up to you and says this. They say, Marsh, look, accidents happen. We know accidents happen. You dropped the Kool-Aid on the floor, didn't you? You spilled the Kool-Aid on my carpet, didn't you? And you did a good job, baby. You did a good job trying to clean it up, and you did your best. And I understand accidents happen, but you did it, didn't you? And as a kid, what happens? As a kid, I get to keep my street cred because I don't have to admit to anything. All I have to do is I have to agree. It's a psychological superpower that parents have known for years. And what happens? The kid agrees. Little Marsh says, yeah, I did it. And then, of course, we go to try to explain it and all that. It works as a parent. I'm telling you, it's going to work in sales too. Get your customers to agree, not to admit. Okay, so let's set the scenario up. A customer comes in, and I can tell, dude, that they're rigid, okay? They're rigid. I can tell they want to shop. They don't trust dealerships, all that kind of different things. What I'll do is I'll see that, and what I'll do is I'll call out what I think that they're thinking. So I'll say this. Look, a lot of times, Mr. Customer, customers think they got to go shop around a little bit. That they want to make sure they're getting the best possible deal, that they're serviced after the sale. They just want to make sure they're not getting taken advantage of on a deal, right? And all of a sudden the customer says, "Oh yeah, that's what I want to do. That's what I want," and they'll go out. I'm throwing the admission out there. All I got to do is get the customer to agree, and then it doesn't mean that I agree to it. I'm throwing the admission. They got the agreement. I'm just looking for agreements. They throw the agreement out there, I line up with the agreement, and then I can address it. I can address it because now they said, hey, this is what it is. Now, sometimes your customers will agree to that, but other times your customers will say, no, it's not that, it's this. And then based on that, all I want to do is I want to get the truth out there on the table. Or say, for instance, a customer comes in and I'll ask them about a trade, okay, because I'm in the car business. And I'll ask them about a trade. You ever do that? And all of a sudden the customer says, no, I don't have anything to trade. Well, based on that right there, what I'll do is I'll create a narrative. So I'll say, you know what, well, how many miles is on it? Oh, it's got 170,000. If you were to trade something, how many miles on it? Oh, it's got about 170,000 miles on it. So based on that right there, I create a story. I create a narrative. And as a salesperson, you got to create a narrative. So what you got to do is you got to say, look, you know, a lot of customers think that when they come in, Mr. Customer, they're not going to get anything for a high mileage vehicle. And I'll just kind of leave it like that. And all of a sudden, the customer all of a sudden looks up at you and they turn to you and they say, oh my gosh, he gets me. That's what you become. He gets me. You had me at hello kind of salesperson. And then based on that, and the customer says, yeah, man, I'm not going to get anything for it. Then you can address it. Look, we got buyers all over the United States. We're not going to guess what a vehicle's worth. We're going to give you top dollar. Tell me a little bit more about it. See, that's all I got to do. See, getting customers to admit, it's hard to get customers to admit because customers feel like if they admit to something, then what they got to do is they got to fight. And so they don't like admitting, so they just keep it to themselves. But if you think of the admission, if you throw the admission and all they got to do is agree, I'm telling you, it's a superpower. It'll make your sales lethal. Try that. Now look, this is a skill. It may not work the first few times. It takes time to develop that skill, but stay at it, okay? Get your customers to agree, okay, by you first throwing out the admission. Until next time, I'm Marsh Buice, and I'll see you out there on the blacktop.